Good afternoon. Welcome to our Senior Design Showcase. We worked at Nebraska Public Media. My name is Avery,
I'm Maxwell Klein.
and we're going to go through all this. First, we're going to talk about Nebraska Public Media as a company. Then we're going to look at the problem and solution that we took. And then after that, we're going to look at the value that we gained and the highlights and some of the things that we added to the project. So to start, if you could kindly. So we'll talk about Nebraska Public Media. They're a company that's been around for a while. Many of you have probably heard of them. Nebraska Public Media works to enhance the community, provide interactive engagement, and mainly share Nebraska stories. It's all about people in Nebraska, and they provide working at both a local, state, and federal level to engage with alerts and safety for all sorts of concerns, as well as education for future generations are all things that are important to Nebraska Public Media. And so I'll pass it along to Max to talk about the great people that were involved.
Yeah, so these are some of our stakeholders from Nebraska Public Media. We couldn't list them all on the slide because we worked with so many of them. Just to list some of them are here. We had Ling Ling Sun, who unfortunately left in March, kind of got us through everything as the CTO. Jared Hofker, who joined about halfway through, was really helpful on the technical side and the coding side of things. We had Colin Burke, Steve Exon, Al Kraus, Kim Rogers, Carlos Ruiz, and Aaron Chad. All these people helped out in their own way, and we really would not have done this project without them. They really helped us out. So on to the UNL sponsors. Our project manager was Melanie Kugler-Wright. Our tribe lead was Bonita Sharif. She hopped on about halfway too, and she really helped us out, helped us finish strong and kind of nail our processes down. Same with Steve Arnold. I don't think he's here today, but he's our industry leader from Microsoft, and he really helped us to kind of tell us what they did at Microsoft, and we kind of worked that into our project. To go over us, Kendry and Jake. Kendry was our product manager, and Jake was our development manager. The rest of us were developers. Zach and I, we worked kind of more on the live and VOD content side of things, while Avery and Gage worked more on the weather and Connect with Us and other pages, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll talk about why is this project even a thing. So the emerging technology of ATC 3.0, which is a technology that helps to transmit signal, it's a potential to, stats have said in 2030 that it might be large enough and potentially very widely used. And so Nebraska Public Media wants to capitalize on this emerging market. In order to do so, Run3 TV is a company that provides an out-of-box solution, but is not exactly what Nebraska Public Media wanted. It didn't meet all their needs. For example, it didn't have support for things like weather and other interactive features, which is one of the greatest benefits about ATSC 3.0. So they needed a custom solution, and that is what we strive to provide.
Yeah, so our opportunity coming on this project, we really just wanted to kind of pioneer public broadcasting innovation, at least in the Omaha market, for these customized Run3 TV applications. There's a lot of bandwidth that you can do with these projects, and we just kind of wanted to show that you can think outside the box and do things that aren't usually, with smaller companies, aren't usually accessible. We wanted to experiment with some new forms of viewer interaction, such as enabling some two-way engagement rather than just passive viewing, and you being able to select the shows you want. So we integrated features like a large video-on-demand library, live IPTV streams, as well as audio and video, different forms of audience engagement, as well as the weather and information safety alerts. We really just wanted to lay the groundwork for at least ATSC 3.0 model in Omaha itself, and maybe across Nebraska, as well as maybe other PBS stations as well. So I'll go ahead and kind of get started. This is the main screen you see when you launch into our application. We really wanted to kind of just break up the sidebar and also follow the WCAG 2.1 accessibility standards to really be able to just contrast between the different elements so that everybody can use it. Before it was just Rails with content on the side of it, and we thought that was just too clunky. We wanted actual sub-applications where you'd have all of those features that they tried to implement. So to do that, we first implemented our live page, which we allocated for all of their 8 to 9 streams, but due to legality and other issues, we just shipped with these 3, which are their World Live, News/Classical, and News Jazz. For this, we just wanted a basic grid pattern with some buttons that you could click on to open a drop-down, open the show, and on the right you're seeing our custom-built Video.js player that's reskinned to work with just both the live and the on-demand content. We have, as you can see, like focus indicators at the bottom saying it's live, it's the world channel, and you can also have spatial navigation so you can do closed captioning. Onto the on-demand. We spent a lot of time on this kind of building out our catalog to kind of remind you of a Hulu or Netflix or other PBS applications, because they had a kind of backlog of styles of how they wanted to do it. So we just kind of went with this, where you had your show screen and then your episode screen in the top right, where you'd enter a show. There's a short drop-down description and then a longer description up top. And then there's also drop-downs for the episode, so you can see exactly what the episode is about, when it was posted, and like the title and other things like that. And then once you launch into watching one of the playback options, the content, there's our custom-skinned Video.js player, where you can see it has closed captioning, play, pause, the exact timing and information where you are within the program, and then you have a seek forward and backwards, which was kind of confusing at first, so we had to add the plus 40 seconds, and it tracks how far back and forward you go. So a lot of people said that it was a little confusing because you didn't know where you were, so we just decided to add that as a measure to let people know exactly what they were doing. So yeah, I'll go ahead and hand it off to Avery to kind of go over the weather.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the big components that we wanted to include is the interactability of things like weather. And so here are different subpages when you go into the weather sub-app. And so you have things like current conditions or the week ahead, or in the bottom right, the next 24 hours. We wanted to make sure that you can see these different views and they interact with the current weather. And so they provide things like the radar, as well as the temperature throughout the day. And you can see in the bottom right, the next 24 hours, there are alerts. So if there's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, we wanted that to be a key component that we're providing the safety features that Nebraska Public Media wanted. And so those are all there in the weather. Next, we wanted to provide a way that the user can interact with Nebraska Public Media directly. And so we came up with these pages that have QR codes that you're able to scan to get more information about particular aspects, or go to socials like Instagram and other components. And so this was our solution to having some of the interactability directly with the company. And then lastly, you have to have a user guide. People need to know how you're going to move around the app. And so we created an app guide that you're able to scan the QR code, and you can figure out how you want to manipulate and move through the app to get the full selection of content. And this is all within the app, and so you can maneuver this with your remote just as easily. Now we'll talk about the values that we gained, as well as the value that we contributed to the sponsor. So one thing is that we learned how to very clearly communicate with our sponsors what things, issues, risks, as well as scope and other aspects of the development. We learned how to really rate our importance in these categories. We also had transparency with consistent feedback loops, which was a very big topic for our group. And I'll pass it on to Max to talk about the highlights.
There was a lot of highlights that we experienced throughout this project. I know myself, I got a lot of experience working with different technologies, but some of the main highlights we wanted to focus on, we were able to manage and control API endpoints. We kind of created our own middleware with NPM to kind of control that data for the on-demand, so they can update shows daily if they wanted to, and that would kind of be reflected immediately on the application. We also conducted thorough cross-checking and expanded testing coverage to most of the application, so that on every build, every new build, it tests everything to make sure that, hey, this still works, this still functions, and it delivers that through, I think, Travis CI. So we just really wanted to make sure we had a robust application, especially with error checking and things like that. We were also able to deliver regional data and personalized user experiences with that weather application. We really wanted to kind of narrow it down so it wasn't just one location that had all the weather data. It was every location. Wherever you were in Omaha, you would get that specific data for your zip code. So we really just wanted to kind of personalize those user experiences and make the application for everyone instead of just a specific group of people. So yeah, we just would like to say thank you to both the
Thank
University
you.
of Nebraska and Nebraska Public Media. Without this project, I know that I wouldn't be in the position I am, and
Yep.
I learned a lot of technical and soft skills from this project.
Yep.
And maybe you want to say your award?
Yeah, so our project got nominated for the Platinum Award. So we're very excited, or not nominated,
Nominated and won.
and won. So big difference here. Thank you. It was a project that we couldn't have done without the great minds at Nebraska Public Media, as well as the faculty and our coach and the whole team coming together. It was really a group effort, and so
I'd like to
really glad for that.